Good morning and welcome to another project. I will turn the camera around in a moment. I'm going to show you exactly what's going on here. So here is the garden. We had this lovely new paved area completed by a different contractor with the balustrades. I'm here for some soft landscaping work with a little bit of hard, which I'll show you in a moment. First of all, there's a rainwater pipe the other side of that trellis fencing. That's going to be coming down there, and I'm going to create a dry stream creek bed, form it. It looks like a natural stream when it rains, and that's going to wind its way to around here. We're going to sink that down, form a bit of a soakaway using aqua blocks, but that's going to be made very natural. In here I've got a raised two-tier planting sleeper area. All of this turf will be removed, and I will be sowing a mix of grass seed and wildflower seed and clover seed like you've seen me do before. These flower beds are going to be redesigned and enlarged. It's going to be a wildlife pond around about this area here. And I've got some concrete sets, some stone sets, I should say, concreted in around there, just part of the design. And there's going to be a slightly raised decked area so they can walk down the garden on. That's going to be done after I've finished my work. I've obviously got to plan the pond around where that's going to be in terms of the footings for it. Yeah, because that's going to be sort of almost overhanging the pond is the idea there. So yeah, lots to do. Hope the weather stays as good as it is at the moment. Okay, so you've just seen me clear and kind of level this area here. This is where the raised stepped sleepers are going to be going. It's going to be like a triangle in this area here. Obviously I've got to be a bit wary of where I take this stream bed on that corner. So the square area here where you saw me lay out the grid is a large aqua block, and I'm going to be putting two large aqua blocks deep. That is going to be basically a pit, if you like. That's going to have a membrane around it inside the ground so the soil can't go in. We're going to have the liner coming in like we would on a normal stream going into a pond. I'm going to have a few dip areas in there so it can collect actually pool water. And the idea is, yes, it's a soakaway. You can call it a fancy artistic soakaway, but I'm going to call it a dry stream bed. And the idea is that I just gradually, when that pipe gets connected to the rainwater pipe, the stream's going to start here. It's going to hit that liner. So a few little dips in there, a few rocks, planting, and then when it rains, that's going to come down there, build up in the dip areas, and then gradually overflow down into that pit. Let's get digging. So the pit is dug, 2 large aqua blocks are in there. Each of those aqua blocks is 45 centimetres high, so it's obviously 90, plus I've gone a bit deeper, just so I've got a low edge from that stream section to run in, so about 1 metre deep there. Got no access for a mini digger, so with this, as you've seen, and when I do the wildlife pond, everything's going to be done the old-fashioned way, by hand. Keeps me fit and strong, which helps, but it's such an awkward tight space, so as you've seen, I've had to use all manner of techniques and tools to try and keep this nice rectangle area. So that's all done. So that is basically going to be a structural void. We don't want that filled up with gravel like the old-fashioned way of doing a soakaway. The idea is this is going to have some membrane around the outside of this to keep the soil from migrating into this void, and then when the rainwater comes from the stream section into here, it's obviously going to pool up in these dips I've created in the stream section, but the idea is then that will seep down into the soil through that membrane, and ideally that's not going to fill up. This is only taking rainwater from the sort of quarter of the house, if you like. The rear left section, as I'm looking at it, is underwater harvesting tanks under the new paving, and there's separate rainwater pipes at the front. So this is more than man enough. So the idea is not really for this to fill up. This is just a void space for it to run into. We're heavy clay around here in this area, so it's just sort of built on braces really. So that does percolate through to the soil. So I mean, these aqua blocks can hold 124 litres or 7.4 gallons each, these large ones. So obviously double that, we're looking at 248 litres or nearly 15 gallons. So plenty of void space in there. So what I'm going to do now, you're going to see this on the sped up video in a minute. We're going to take these out again. We're going to get some membrane in there, pat them in, get them nicely levelled off, and I can start getting the liner from that section over there where the rainwater pipe's going to be coming, and I can start building this stream section with pretty rocks and cobbles. So before I go any further, I just want to say sorry. I thought I pressed record for the previous section, which you haven't seen, which is me putting the 2 aqua blocks in the ground with the fleece. So I'll just quickly explain my process. Put the fleece, same fleece that I use the underlay overlay of a pond liner, in the ground, put the aqua blocks in top, and then fold the top of the fleece all around the sides onto the top, and then I filled in all around the sides with some 10mm gravel just to lock it in really tight. That's not going to go anywhere now, and that can hold up to 4 tonnes of weight. I'm putting nowhere near that amount of weight on top of it, but that just shows you the strength of these aqua blocks products. Anyway, so the next bit you'll see is it already in the ground. Okay, underlayment and liner is in. You first of all saw me wrap the underlayment around those aqua blocks, pack it with that gravel. They are now locked in super tight. They are not going anywhere. They can now actually hold 4 tonnes of weight on top of those, the way they're locked in. Then we put an underlayment before the actual waterproof liner, and then the overlayment here, exactly as I would do in a pond. As you noticed, this top layer of fleece I have cut short of the height. This is because you don't want any of this top overlayment, the fleece, touching anything that's going to potentially wick or draw water out of the pond, soil or anything like that. So just keep it within the liner or within the water level. That way when it gets wet, it just stays within that. That's a good tip. Otherwise you could find you're losing water in a water feature and you think you've got a leak, but it could just be that you're wicking water out on a piece of fleece at some point. All the internal stone, cobbles and boulders are in place. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to run a hose pipe just down here, let it all sit in the deep areas, see where the water levels want to sit before it starts going into this area here, which is where the exposed top of the aqua blocks is for it to run into, and then I can start doing the edge treatment. So as you can see, we've got the nice couple of pooling areas there. I've still got the hose running, and if you listen carefully, you can hear the water going into the soakaway, which is perfect. So now I can do the edge treatment. So you've just got the last few rocks placed up there, which is hiding the rainwater pipe where it enters this dry stream bed. That's all finished. This gravel here is ready for the planters, the oak planters that I'll be building. You'll see them in next week's video. As you can see, this is all done. We've got the pollinator friendly plants I've added here. We've got Nepeta, there's a sedum there. Then I've added 8 small alpines just in these rock areas. I've got this gravel around them just to keep their leaves away from damp soil. They prefer a bit dry condition, which is why I've put the gravel around them. Got the half submerged log there, which is great for attracting beetles and wood lice, and they can be a food source as well for any amphibian life that we do get around the garden, probably after the creation of the wildlife pond. But when this is filling with rainwater, we may even get some frogs around this area, which would be lovely. So that is this dry stream bed all finished. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again for watching. Next week I will be building the 2-tier oak sleeper planter, so stay tuned for that and everything that's involved along the way. But for now, I guess we just want some rain to come and get this working. For now, see you later.